Hi, I'm Mia,
I'm Matt.
and this is the Kind Podcast. Today we have
Dr. Reginald Boyce, Director of Community Affairs and Special Assistant to Mayor Young.
Gerald J. Joyner, Interim Program Manager of the Opportunity R3 program with the Office of Community Affairs.
excellent. Thank y'all for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about what you do, just a general overview.
All right. Well, I serve again as Director of Community Affairs, which houses several programs, one being Opportunity R3, another is Bridge, which is our second chance program that deals with expungements and driver license reinstatement, GVIP, which is our Group Violence Intervention Program, also PARC, that is PARC, which is Police Advisory Review Committee. Also, I know. Neighborhoods Excellence Training Program, which we help go into the neighborhoods and help build home associations, neighborhood watch programs, things of that nature. And On Your Block, if you've heard that recently, that's where we partner with faith leaders and businesses on how we can make your community much cleaner and safer and help businesses move into the city, make Memphis a more profitable place, a place more investable. And then finally, the One Memphis Tour, if you heard those, that's also housed with us where we go and we set up these town halls throughout the communities and colleges where the mayor can speak to the community and the community can hear from the mayor and share their concerns. And we can hear some real practical solutions and work together.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Not a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
I probably forgot something.
Right. I got another acronym for you, right? So Opportunity R3, and that is Rethinking, Rebuilding, and Rebranding. And our program, this program is aimed, it's focused at 16 to 24-year-olds who are unemployed and not in school, but we also we'll take anybody that has those opportunities. We Dr. Boyce always his motto is don't turn anyone away because the city is here to serve. And so what we do is we have weeks cohorts that exist based on those R's: rethinking, rebuilding, and rebranding. We deal with three tentacled approach. We do educational opportunities, training, and career entry level employment opportunities, as well as soft skills training. And so what happens is when people come to Opportunity R3, they're going to get everything they need to be almost a pre-onboarding for your job, right? And so we also offer career shadowing, because we like you to have an entire week. Because most times when you go to career shadowing, it's one day, but we want you to see what does the entire week look like. So they spend 15 to 20 hours per week on a career shadowing opportunity. So we've served somebody that wants to be a lawyer all the way down to want to be a wrestler. Mm-hmm. And so we pride ourselves in saying we're 100% placement on that. And so when you go from our program, Opportunity R3, the goal is for you to come in, you're not employed, you're not in school, and we want to connect you with employment opportunities, immediate employment, because a lot of people need that, as well as possible career entry level employment. And then we also want you to be connected with some type of training program, industry recognized credentialing program, or a 2 or 4 year university, and we want you to be enrolled in that. And so our partners consist of employment partners, educational partners, industry tour partners, as well as career shadowing partners. And we serve anybody. It can be 16 to 24-year-olds, unhoused, justice involved, or just those that are trying to get that transition from being a teenager to being an adult. And how do we help you, aid and assist you get you where you're trying to go?
Beautiful. That is so much work by two individuals, and I know we've personally been involved with multiple programs with you. Arthur's really been impactful for our youth program, 18 to 24, over at Help Hall. Just tremendous relationship, and the shadowing part was extremely interesting and really cool to see. A lot of what we talk about with youth is exposure being the number one key to assisting them continuing to grow. You can't know what you want to do if you never been exposed to something.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But before we dive deeper into the work that y'all do, I kind of want to get more of a background about y'all.
Okay.
So one of the questions we always ask someone is, what got you into this type of work? I mean, this is hard work. It's generally thankless. There's a lot of long nights, tough situations, really, really meaningful and impactful work, but it all comes from a place where there's a lot of struggle and there's a lot of hurt, and it takes really strong individuals to get to that point. So what led each of you into a kind of a servant position?
Boss looked at me, let me go. I think my family has just, I mean, it's kind of like in my family. My mom, on my mother's side, a lot of nurses and teachers. on my father's side, a lot of teachers, a lot of preachers, a lot of pastors. So we've kind of both sides of the family. We've always been wanting, how do we aid and assist the community? How do we help people? And you have to kind of have empathy for it. And so my first career before I got into workforce development, human resources, labor relations, before I even got into that, I was in higher ed. And so my careers have always been helping people because I wanted to be helped. And so I think it's something that you didn't plan for, but my mom and dad always said, be a productive citizen. What better way to be a productive citizen than helping your community? And I'm a lifelong Memphian, and so I can't represent Memphis the right way if I'm not part of the solution to alleviate all of any type of problems or challenges we might have. So it's just kind of grown up in me to be this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and same is true for me. You made mention just a minute ago that young people, when they're exposed to something, usually what they're exposed to is what they'll become, or at least inspire them. And so the same thing is true for me. It's in my family. I'm a fourth generation preacher and pastor.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I grew up in a household with a pastor. My grandfather's a pastor. Brothers, my uncles, my dad's grandfather's brothers are all pastors. And so I would see my dad every Wednesday. On our way to church, he'd literally go visit the sick and shut in, the most vulnerable. That's a part of his church. And I just saw the compassion that he had with them and just hearing their stories. And I remember we lived in Fraser at one time, and we were at a bank, and there was a young lady who was in a domestic situation with a man. It was snow outside, ice outside. It was ice. We rarely get snow.
Yeah.
It was ice outside.
True that.
And so while he was at the ATM machine, he literally intervened, stopped them from fighting, put the young lady in the car, took her home. I remember blood being in the car. I mean, it wasn't the best scene, but I remember the compassion he had to intervene in a situation which could have been deadly, not for only for my father, but for all of us that was there. And that was as a kid, just seeing the compassion that he had. And so it was just birthing me. And I've been preaching since the age of 17, started pastoring at 19. I'm 37 now, so I've been doing this all my life. So for me, it's a calling, and it's this is what I do. I mean, I don't even have to think about helping anybody. If I see someone, I do it, and I think nothing else about it. And so that's what got me started, and that's what wakes me up every day and say, hey, get it done. Someone needs help today.
Absolutely. And I think there are so many beautiful things that when you speak about this that come to mind image-wise. And the same for you, your background, you had these people that were impactful that brought you up. What has been something in your current role that has been more on the uglier side that you felt you had to bring in that light from your childhood? Maybe it was a pastoral moment, or maybe it was just from higher education that you brought in and you said, you know what, this is really ugly and people don't usually see this. I'm bringing in this light from my past.
How can I answer that? I think oftentimes, we don't believe in OCA, Office of Community Affairs. We have a motto: we don't have problems, we have challenges. Because if you look at something, you say the word challenge, you can face that challenge. A problem, it's already almost too much to bear. So a lot of people in our programs are going to have challenges. We all have challenges, right? I think my dad and my mom, my dad particularly, he was really big he was from South Memphis. Both of my parents from South Memphis. And my father really knew what it was like not to have something. And so he always believed in, if someone needs something and you have it, give it to them. Right. And so oftentimes we'll have people come through our programs that are just looking for a particular, you'd be surprised how many people, information is free, but it's not always as accessible as it seems to be.
Right.
And so there's oftentimes, I'm just going to generically speak about it, people will come in and might not have the connection that they need to get this particular job. And so when we build partnerships, the city of Memphis is a brand, just like Nike, just like FedEx. We're a brand, and so people expect us to have those answers and have those connectivity, those plugs, as you would say, our plugs to get them plugged in, right? And so when we build partnerships, I feel good to be able to say, I know this person. We know this person. We have this person in our catalog here at OCA, and one of our participants might need a job or might need assistance or might need housing, how we've called you guys, I'm texting you all times, and the man's like, I'm going to take care of it. And so that's all. So that comes from my childhood and my parents. Someone, if you have something, I'm not going to hoard information. If they need it, I'm going to aid and assist them. And so that's kind of generically speaking of it. That's something I pulled from my childhood, that I have access to things now that we're the city of Memphis. And so whatever access that I have in OCA, I'm going to give access to the people that I serve.
Right.
And one of the things that I think is particular the work that we all partake in is a certain level of passion and a certain level of understanding that it goes beyond your job description. With that though, there's always a flip side that you are a human being.
Absolutely.
You do have wants, you have needs, you have families, you have people you care about, and you have to be able to recharge your battery. How do you all stay grounded, and how do you balance between I'm here to help, I'm here to give my full effort, but at the same time I need personal time and I need the ability to recharge so I can come back even more effective?
Sure. First of all, I approach everything with a sense of gratitude and grace. And so I'm a father of 4 girls, right? I know, and a wife. So I go home to a house full of people, but they greet me at the door with hugs and kisses. Dad, how was your day? Hey, Dad, look what I made today at school. Or here's my progress report. Here's my report card. So number one, just that naturally recharges me to feel that love and joy. Like, this is someone who doesn't necessarily need anything from me right now. They just appreciate and applaud who I am, what I bring. Because sometimes when you are meeting those who are the most vulnerable and who have needs, they can care less about you being a human being. They can care less about your day, how frustrated you've been, right? They just need a need met. And you have to chop that, right? You have to take that in that, hey, they can care less that I was in traffic for 20 minutes today on my way here. That's not their concern. I need food, right? I need housing. I need this light bill. And you can imagine, I'm getting hit on both sides, right? So from the city side and even from the ministry side, where there are individuals who are always in need. So number one, just being grateful that today I have an opportunity to feel love and to provide, and that I'm being provided for. But then in terms of ensuring that I'm not burned out, I do take time off. I take time. In fact, on my way here today, I was getting ready to walk from City Hall to here. That's one of those ways where I just go and just kind of breathe and just kind of let it all go out. And then it kind of puts me back into, put everything back into perspective. Like, hey, whatever you think is bad in your life, it could be so much worse.
Absolutely.
Right. There's somebody who's willing to trade places with you, even for 5 minutes. Right. And so I oftentimes just take a walk and just find a way to recenter myself and say, all right, let's recharge. Let's get back out there. Because again, there is a need that needs to be met. And the world doesn't evolve around you. But right now, the Lord is using you to help meet this need in this person's life at this time. So that's how I recharge.
Yeah. May I just say a walk is underrated.
I promise you.
It's underrated.
Right.
But
I was just to piggyback. I mean, he said it best. Director Dr. Boyce said it best. There are people that would pay to have your problems. So I never, and I'm not a complainer like that. But he's definitely right. My wife and I have 2 boys at home, and so it seems cliche or a platitude, but it's true. When they say, as soon as you walk through the door, my baby, especially my youngest, he's 8 years old, so he's always like, Dad, how was your day? And he's been saying that since he's like 2 or 3. I'm like, really? Where'd you get this from? How do you know to ask me how my day was? But that kind of, takes it all away, really. I'm a Tiger fan. You're a Tiger fan, so I watch the games. Try to catch as many games as I possibly can. Take the boys to the game. Take my wife to the game. Grizzlies games if we can. Go out to eat. I'm a foodie too, so that kind of I gotta get me some walking because I should have walked from the office, but I'm a foodie man, so I kind of look forward to the weekends. We go to a nice restaurant, go eat really good. Me and my wife and the kids, and sometimes have a date night if I can or whatever. But it's not so hard to recharge because that you have I enjoy what I do, right? And it's a purpose, like you said, purpose driven. So sometimes you can get burnt out, but then of course you can always think it's like almost the next day is a new day, and you have like you say, it's a purpose at hand. And so but I probably need to quit eating so much for my
it's hard in Memphis.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna recharge. I need to decharge actually. But the family, like when you look at people, and I look at the people that we aid and assist, and that we're here to serve. I want somebody to be there for my boys when they grow up if I'm not able to do it. So I operate like that.
Yeah.
So it's easy to recharge.
Yeah, and it's funny you both touched on that. I grew up in a household where my dad said, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life.
Literally.
So I've always taken that in the work that I do, and a lot of my siblings do the same. And it's funny that y'all mentioned the comparison of like, I know I'm tired because I didn't get to go to bed last night, and I just got a puppy, so I've not been sleeping all often. German Shepherd was abandoned in a park across from where I live, abused.
He's precious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I'm not sleeping a whole lot right now.
He's gonna be loyal. It's gonna pay off at the end. He's gonna be extremely loyal.
Supposed to be 80 pounds, and I'm really pumped for that time. He's not, every 5 minutes screaming. But in the meantime, I'm getting through that. But I remember being tired like recently, and then I ran into a person that just graduated from our new workforce program, and he was just extremely excited because he had a job. Was just kind of freaking out, like, I can't believe this happened, this and that. That to me is like those little tokens you get in this type of work, where it's like what I put in garners that result. So that understanding the wins and understanding the losses, like when I walk into the center and I see someone who's been sleeping outside, we just got done with the warming center, they're in a wheelchair. I've worked with people that have literal body parts hanging off, and they can't go get any help because they don't have insurance. Or they can't get the medication they need because they have a history of addiction. Just seeing those situations really puts in light, like, I can wake up and be tired for the day. But on that same note, when it comes to human-centric work that y'all both do, a lot of times when people think government or they think the different offices, they think just people like in a damp, depressing office, checking a box, moving on to the next. But y'all have exemplified tremendous work as far as human-centric, worrying about the person, not the problem. How do you maintain that perspective when you have A, so many people combating that idea, but B, you have so many different communities that you are trying to assist?
Sure. Number one, you got to continue to remind yourself, again, why you're here, right? Again, this is an assignment. This is purpose-driven. This is what I'm designed to do. This is what I'm called for. So what does drain me, if I can be honest, is sitting behind a computer, marking boxes. That I cannot do. I have literally 5 offices. 5. Let me just sit in 5. And I can't sit in either. I'm not an office person. Like, I have to get out. That drives me, that fuels me. And so when individuals think that, hey, that's all the government does, I tell them, please follow me.
Right.
Follow me, hang around me, like whatever it is, I can show you. Like, there's way more to just checking boxes, meeting budgets, and all this. No, this is hard work, and it's necessary work. It's necessary work. If all we're doing is checking boxes, we're going to have a bigger issue down the line.
Sure. Definitely.
On that more serious note, I know that it can be a difficult question, but we all, as we spoke about, are human, and we all, like Matt said, have these highs and these lows. Can you tell me about a time where you realized, like, that was a failure on my part, and how did you adjust and change for the better?
I'm not, again, like, I try not to live in those terminologies. My background is rhetoric, English degrees, writing. So I'm really careful on how I use words to describe things. I don't like to look at failures, and I don't really necessarily look at successes, because I always tell people, well, the work that we do is fluid, because what you think is a success today on Thursday, something could happen to that participant, the people's lives that you're serving, that might turn that to look like a negative the following day. So I kind of wait till it's like raising children. Now we had a daughter and 2 sons. My 2 sons are still at home. My daughter is good and grown out there in Tempe, Arizona. Like, you have to really wait till they get deep down in life before you start saying, they've turned out great. Like, you got to wait a little bit, right? And then you're still waiting. So, but we've had participants that we serve, our particular demographic that we serve in Opportunity R3, we have had several, about 4 in the last 3 years, that have passed away due to violence. And you kind of take it personally, particularly there's one in particular, young man, he had come through the program. The pathway is you come through the program, you're a tabula rasa. You come in there, no job, and you're not in school, in any credentialing program. You leave, he comes through us, he goes through the 4-week cohort. We get him in a training program for barbering. And I was like, you know what? You might as well be a cosmetologist, because they're going to pay more money, because you can do male and female hair. He gets in cosmetology school. He has a job, and he's cutting hair on the side as well while he's in cosmetology school. Wow. So he comes in unemployed and not in a training program, and he gets that. And unfortunately, his life was taken from him, and it hurt me. And I kind of looked at it. I wish we could have accelerated quicker. I wish he could have. You can't move out of the neighborhood that he was in, but he was turning his life around, but he was still in the same geographical area where he was. And who knows what happened? I mean, he was in school, he's doing everything he's supposed to do, and he lost his life. And I kind of looked at it I wouldn't say a failure, but I wish it was something else we could have done to accelerate his path so he could have avoided that. And so those things sometimes, things like that, not that you're dealing with a loss of life all the time, but it's even just like if you have somebody, when I was a professor, I've had people that they were right on the cusp of graduating and I got to go make some money, I'm going to go work. And you're like, you were right there at this degree and this could have been your career pathway, that dream that you had. And so sometimes you think you wanted to have done something differently. And so wouldn't say I look at it like a failure, but it's those things that ride with you. And that's why you moving forward, you think about that and makes you have more urgency of the matter.
Yeah, and one of the things when it comes to working with people is to talk about the checking boxes. Like a lot of people think that the work we do, there's a pre-established ending to whatever I think success looks like. As soon as you start thinking like that in social work, you're already on the wrong spot.
Right.
Because our job is not to, hey, I need to take you, put you in this little box, and then ship you out so you can come out here and be this, brand new person. It's you tell me what success is to you. We talk about all the time here. There's people that will come in and them attempting to get help is one of the biggest wins we've seen because they've been outside for 6 months without trusting anyone.
Yeah.
And I think to speak to what you spoke about with R3 and that individual, with our youth programming, sometimes what I hear as normalcy on a day-to-day life for some of the community members that we serve is astonishing.
Yeah.
And it does show resiliency in the fact that they are able to continue to push forward. But the amount of kids that I've worked with that will get to a certain spot that you're talking about, they'll get to the apartment, they'll have the job, and then it just takes that one person to reach out and be like, hey man, you want to do this? And then
it's all
we're
right.
back where we started.
Right.
But I think you're correct because you can't look at that as a failure. What we try to teach with all of our programming, but workforce and our youth programming is that it's funny you mentioned how you word things. Yeah, I don't like the word failure. I love the word lesson because anything that goes wrong in case management in life, if you don't learn from it, then you can look at it as a failure. But if you take a step back and like, where did I go wrong or where did I disconnect from whatever I was trying to do? And then you rework, you rebrand, and you rebuild and get to the next spot. That's a lesson that you learn something from.
Yeah.
Look at you rebranding.
Yep. I actually tell people that all the time. If you hear me say I took an L today, there's what you lose? You took a loss. No, I took a lesson today. Like it was that one thing that caught my attention. All right, this is where I'm going to grow from. This is how our team can grow from it. And so we got several of those stories, especially not even just a life being lost, but a person that took a step backwards to the life that they were trying to escape, but because we could not help as quick, we could not accelerate that aid. It makes them go backwards.
Do you think that's a common? I want to speak about barriers because I think barriers, like in essence, all we do is knock down barriers for people.
Oh, absolutely.
And we try to get them connected, like you said. We need to find the correct plug. What do you think is the biggest barrier or disconnection when it comes to the population that y'all serve, and then the services or where you're trying to get them to?
Well, first of all, I really wish we had. When I pray the Lord make me a trillionaire, it has nothing to do just for me and my family. Like I really want to help meet the need, and when you're so dependent on funding from other sources, like that stops. That's a barrier.
Yeah.
And when you can look someone in the eye and say, "We can't do anything anymore because we have run out of funding," or I mean, I got enough money to help you get your license back, but not both of you, know. And so I think funding is always going to be one of the biggest sources that we are so dependent on it. We don't, and I don't think people understand when we say we need money. Like they see it as you need more money for a bigger building, you need more money for this. Like we need it for the work that we do, so you can really see the impact. But funding for me has always been that biggest barrier. Right now, the lesson I'm learning. And I'm still trying to figure this lesson out, but I'll tell you what haunts me, what keeps me up at night from time to time. You remember this too, Gerald. Last year we had over 500 people who wanted to get their license reinstated, right? They needed it. So first we thought they were coming for expungements because, we can help you with that. Most expungements don't cost. If anything, you pay for court costs. And we thank God for our judges that work with us and others that make sure we just get rid of the court costs or slash it, however they're aiding us. We had over 500 people last year who need their driver's license reinstated. Now, originally, before they all came, we had funding for it with ARPA funding. Well, of course, when ARPA funding ran out, you just don't have more money. But when the funding ran out, there were people that were excited they can get their license back. Some ever had a license before, but now we can help them get it. Well, when we could not help all of them, we still have a waiting list for some that's still waiting. You run the risk now of individuals driving without a license, right? Then what happens after that? So if I get pulled over, I don't have a license, and that encounter can turn ugly for whatever reason. Perhaps this can lead to an arrest, which now takes away, again, money out the household, food, a father or mother away. Like, it leads to so much when it was just a driver's license that started this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I really wish that's what haunts me at night. Like, how can we find a way to help not just those individuals who are waiting for their driver's license reinstatement, but then for others where we can just remove this small barrier so they can at least get a job, or can drive clean. You're right.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that song, Riding Dirty?
Right.
Are y'all old enough to remember
We
that
got
song?
that. We got that.
Okay.
We got that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
A few things.
Empathy.
Yep. Some folks don't care.
Because this is directly connected to that. You know why? You can't count the worth of a human being. And so, do you know people think that we're getting rich working for the city?
Wild.
Now, what's so crazy? I'm sorry, I'm being candid today. Might not happen.
No, do it.
But
we love it.
if you are empathetic, now you have a lot of philanthropists in the city that are very empathetic. You all know about the great philanthropy here.
Yeah.
But there are people that almost are lording over. They don't understand what it takes to aid and assist the community. And if they had more empathy, then maybe that would, because a lot of times these are votes, these are on funding. And like Director was saying, the empathy will allow you to understand. And you are an English major, you understand this. There's a difference between empathy and sympathy.
Yes.
Right? And apathy. We can read
Vocabulary.
it too. There you go, vocabulary test. I'm finna play on this one real good.
Let's go for it.
So your sympathy, you can feel somebody, you can see it, but you ain't never been in that predicament. Empathy, I have been in there.
Yep.
Apathy, I don't even care.
I don't care.
So we need more empathy. I like you to sympathize, but put yourself in that shoes.
Yes.
Right? My father used to tell a story, and this would really surmise empathy versus sympathy. An older lady of our church, her husband had died, and my dad was a young deacon, 26 years old, and he goes and tells her, sorry for your loss, my condolences, I know how you feel. She said, no, son, don't you ever tell nobody that. You don't know how I feel. Mm-hmm. And even if you were to lose your spouse, you haven't lost my spouse. Yep. So don't ever tell anybody that no more. It was a lesson learned, right? Yes. And so we can try our best to empathize as well, too, but I would like us to have more empathy, because you might have never been in that shoe, but really see that people are needing help. And like you said, that person that could need that driver's license, you've gone from just simple driver's license to now I'm deeply justice involved now. Deeply. Now my job could be gone. Money is gone, and that money, everything is connected to everything. Me and Matt, we were talking earlier, unhoused, justice involved, workforce development, education, faith-based community. Everything is in the same house. But some people don't seem to understand this. And so I just want people to have where that empathy is what's needed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's honestly pretty comparable to like mental health. Like a lot of mental health concerns have comorbid, coexisting things going on. Like if I'm experiencing depression, well, there's also a high likelihood that I'm dealing with anxiety, from suicidal ideation. I'm dealing with a lot of other things, but the touch point is depression.
Yeah.
Right.
And to speak to what you just, I'll be candid too, because you just brought up a great point. Nothing is more aggravating to me than when I speak with people about my work and like I don't get it. So you offer all these great things, and like why don't people just come and get the help? It's like there's so many. Well, A, there's so many reasons, but B, like you're looking at it from the point of view of someone who has everything in their life taken care of.
Yes, sir.
So to you, it's just kind of like a block being taken out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You just put it back in, you go about your day. We work with people who've been outside for 30 plus years. The last time they had a conversation with someone, or every time they have a conversation with someone, it's hey, get the hell off my block, or get outside of my business, or the cops are like, hey, you got to get up and move from over here. They haven't had a positive interaction. Our executive director Kelsey Johnson came in here and did one with us, but he said a great saying, which was, it's a game of numbers for them, but the number one thing that you want to do is make someone at least feel seen. On average, individuals experiencing homelessness are treated as invisible up to 8 times per day. Yeah. Treated as you don't even exist. Right. So just the simple thought of when you walk by someone, even if they ask you if they're panhandling, you don't have the money, or you don't feel like you want to give it to them, that's fine. Acknowledge them. Right. Let them know that you know that they are there. That will be more impactful and more lasting than $5 going in their pocket.
Totally.
Right.
And then when people have that point of view, I think empathy, you hit the nail on the head, the ability to take a step back and not compare what you know to what you think they should be doing, but allow yourself to really think in terms of if I spent the last 30 years outside, what is the likelihood that I would actually try to go get help?
See, I will say this, I'm just going to jump in real quick. And we're blessed over at Community Affairs that we have someone from the faith-based community that's our leader, that actually believes and does it, right? Because somebody asked me yesterday, so what do you do all day? Like, first of all, you have no idea what people in our industry do. It's not an everyday. We're making calls when you're off the clock, or you're getting calls from participants that are needing help. Hey, you got a job open? Y'all are hiring? Like, this is not a quantitative thing like in corporate America. I always say this. You've heard me say this. That one person that you get that opportunity and gets a credential that now is going from some hourly wage job to a career pathway. Let's just say healthcare, CNA, phlebotomy, MA, LPN, RN, healthcare administration. This could be the next 45, 50 years if they're 18 years old, 20 years old, right? And then that affects the education of the whole culture of that family, his or her children, and so on and so forth. So you can't do this like you would. You can't measure this thing quantitatively like you would in where it's dollars and cents in white collar America.
You couldn't, and you wouldn't want it.
You don't want to, yeah.
Because if you start doing that, then we go back to checking boxes.
Yeah.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? Like, I think whenever people, especially in the outreach, they were like, so you drive around and just like talk to people outside? I'm like, no, I build relationships. I talk about services. You build rapport. A lot of times it takes that third, fourth interaction for them to be like, okay, wait, this guy actually cares. Okay, he'll actually show up. And when it comes to social work, I think, again, people have no idea what social workers do, which is why we have this platform now, because we want to exemplify the amazing work, but also to show people like, it takes a village for any single person. You know, half our youth went through R3, and they get connected to y'all. They get connected to mental health services. They come up here to get their ID services. They're getting connected to countless workforce development programming across the city, because there needs to be touch points. They need to be surrounded by multiple people.
Right.
And it's not just, and I always have a joke, like whenever I lived with roommates, that I would be on the phone for like till 8 p.m. most nights, especially when I was working with youth, because it never does stop at 4 o'clock. Like, you don't just turn off your phone and then go back home. You're getting texts, you're getting emails, you're getting opportunities being sent to you, and then you think of that one person that you could connect to this, so you got to make, and it's nonstop, continuous work. But it's beautiful work.
It's beautiful work.
And I think when you try to quantify that, if you try to put that into some measurements, you would lose the nuance of what it is that we do. Because it really is something that if one person stood in front of me in a certain way, and then I was able to help them get to their ideal successful life or connection or pathway, that's all that matters. I mean, I don't care if you quantify it, sure, put it down as one person got into a job, but that one job is going to change, like you said, generations of a household, because now they're connected to stability, foundation, autonomy, independence, and something that many of our folks have never had the ability to have. And it's just, I think that what you said, empathy, is a beautiful way to describe it, because a lot of our people in the city and the people that don't know what we do, they lack that internal dialogue of taking the self out of it and looking at the issue, the human that's experiencing it. So I think that's beautiful. And funny you mentioned like a lot of the amazing people doing work around here. In your experience, what is like the ideal partner or someone that you look to engage with when it comes to assisting the individuals that you serve?
Definitely someone who has funding and has compassion, has a heart. So that's the person like who has the resources to help meet that need. And again, not someone that's, hey, I'm going to help you meet it so I can check off a box and I can feel good for the day that I helped you. Know that, hey, I really want to help you to get rid of this issue. Like I keep reading, it takes a village to end homelessness. Like you need individuals who say, I want to partner with you to end this because this is not fair. Like, this is not right. This is injustice. This is just wrong. Everyone deserves a place to stay. Everyone deserves a meal, regardless of what background they have, what challenges they have, the issues. I want to help meet this need. So for me, any partner that says, I can't end it all by myself, and you can't either, but I can make this part a little easier for you, right? And so while I can't give you the funding, here's a building. Here's a car, here's some food, here's, whatever it is. So just a person who says, I see my part in the puzzle. Yeah. All right. I see my part. I want to add this so that way the picture can become much clearer.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I have a question about first of all, someone who doesn't come from the social work background. There are a lot of questions from kind of an ignorant standpoint that I come from. And I feel like there are a lot of things like Matt talked about. People just don't know the ins and outs of what you do every day, especially when you throw in the hot topic word of local government, of government in general. And so I'm curious to know how you work towards building that, I don't want to say trust, because sometimes it might not be trust, but combating that relationship some people have with government.
Yeah, you want to take a stab at it?
Oh, it's not gonna be the right answer.
No, there's no
yeah,
right
yeah.
answer.
Yeah, I don't care.
Beautiful.
I don't care.
The issue is such more
Yeah,
bigger.
I know.
Yeah.
You were watching, you watch the news, you see what's happening. Everybody knows what's happening here. I don't come from a social work background. I come from higher ed first,
Right.
and then workforce development. And obviously, workforce development is social work. HR, labor relations, that's social work, because you're dealing socially with these people, these the pool of employees that you have. So I mean, when people, they don't understand what's happening because they don't want to understand what's happening. So let me be really concise, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh, you hit the nail
Love
on
that.
the
Right.
No, love that.
Yeah, because I feel like that's like the connection to government and social work's kind of like all the same. It's kind of like they know someone's doing something in some building, but they don't really care because they don't have to worry about the problem itself. Like we have such an issue. We have a beautiful facility here, and we have all these amazing things that we do. The amount of times that someone will be here and be like, I had no idea y'all were here. I had no idea you were doing this work. When to us, we see all the impact, all the connections we make, all these beautiful partners doing amazing work from Catholic Charities. We send people over to CMI for healthcare. Like we go through the R3 program, they're getting the shadow. Like, I remember one person shouted to y'all, and they were like, they did a chef program. And I think at the time, Tamika was like, it was kind of a newer one. And they came back, they were just like, a light kind of was beaming in their eyes just from like the opportunity, but also they felt like heard. I told you what I wanted to do, and then you came back with something of an option. And that, all the beauty behind the connections, it gets so overlooked because you don't have that specific problem. So why would you worry about it?
And I want to jump in and say, I don't care. We got our part. You've got community partners, stakeholders, these educational institutions, everybody that's concerned, all the real Memphians that love Memphians, the people that have come and become Memphians, they're on board. They're rocking and rolling. We have some of the greatest partners I think you can think of. The naysayers, they just got to see the work, and hopefully we can, you can pull them over.
But most of the naysayers, I will say, I have seen that once they see the work, and I tell them, come volunteer, just do it for a day, since you got so much time on your hands, right?
Yeah.
That once they are part of it, it does change their perspective a lot, and now you've gained another brother, you've gained another sister, you gain another set of hands to help you do the work, and so. I'm with you. I don't care, but at the same time, and I'm not gonna debate about it, right?
Yeah.
But I will indeed say, well, hey, let's just volunteer for a day, or give me an hour. Just come see it. And because one thing we all have hearts, and that's the one thing we all have in common for sure is a heart. And once a person who is genuinely human, once you see the human inside someone else and the need for you really start. That's that empathy piece, right? You'll start to grow and say, all right, I really want to help. Now, for those who don't care at all, cool, God bless you.
Yeah.
Got a question. All right. What have you two discovered
It's off camera, by the way.
Who is that?
Who is this?
since working with Opportunity with young people, their parents, and business owners around the city? Something that you didn't know before, something that you discovered by trying to combine those relationships together.
Really? He's like, really? Yeah,
That's it.
I just realized, because I am a parent, I didn't realize, I think none of us realize how hard we're working until you look at it from the outside looking in. We know that transportation is a barrier, not even just in the city of Memphis, not just because you might not have it, but just in general scheduling, right?
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is man, you really have to be on a team. You really have to be teamed up. I'm talking about when we talk about a village, you have to have a microcosm of another village. You got a child a lot of participants can be that 18 to 24 is a funny age. 18 to 30, they're just funny ages. You have to. The carpooling has to exist. We have a great partnership with MATA that does helps assist us with all-day bus pass, which is helpful. But then you have to also train them on how. The millennials don't know how to ride the bus.
That's true.
Public transit, and MATA doesn't come right. So that's an issue.
And
That's
the pride of riding the bus, because
the
again,
stigmatism behind
there's
it.
stigmatism here in
Yeah,
Memphis.
yeah.
Riding the bus should be fun. You know,
Yeah.
you go to a city like Atlanta, anywhere else.
Yeah, MATA, right.
Oh, yeah, we jump on. We're excited. Drop me off here. Now I don't have to
DC.
spend my own gas.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's but
Yeah.
Memphis got to remove that stigmatism. It is okay for
Public transit.
Yeah.
DC, the
for
train
sure.
in DC, Chicago. Yeah, I just think I don't really think about it, and I have it in my own little village too. Like, man, it takes a lot. If we're going to use that term success, it takes a lot of connectivity for you to get on that pathway towards development and success, and just takes a whole lot of collaboration. In essence, that's a word that we, obviously the city, we're collaborating internally and externally. But a lot of companies are, like I'm saying, MATA helps out with transportation. A lot of companies help out with when they're bringing the industry to us and bringing it to the community. We've been doing monthly events, R3, taking particular portions of our curriculum to graduating seniors, because this is a transition. You're 18 years old, you're about to hit the real world, right?
Yeah.
And so the industries have been part of our resource hub, where they've y'all have come out where different needs, wraparound services, whether it's social, whether it's mental, whether it's occupational, whether it's educational, and those are the resource hubs to say, hey, we're here, we're an extended part of your village. But I have noticed that I didn't realize it because I'm within it, and now I step outside. Like, man, it's a lot of collaboration that takes place to make sure each individual can get on the pathway towards success, not just occupationally, but just personally, right? Because your mental health is determined oftentimes by your fiscal and physical, right? And so sometimes I'm like, man, it takes a lot, right? And so I'm just thankful for the partnerships that we have. But as the camera guy off scene mentioned, it's a lot to it.
That's a good question. Another thing too is like one of my favorite things that we have here is we have a really large intern base. So I can have like a lot of touch points with people that are still in school to do this similar type of work. Literally 2 days ago, I had a 22-year-old over at U of M doing his master's, and he asked me what I exactly do, and I laughed with Kelsey and Jared yesterday about it, because like I didn't know how to answer that question. But kind of on that same note, like let's say you had a 20-year-old college kid that came up, he's interning with the local government. He's like, so I really love the work that you guys do. How do I do it? What's your honest advice?
So 2 things. When I'm always asked, like, what do you do? I'm like, the best way to answer, what do you need? Like, tell what you need. I can tell you. But then the other piece is, I'm a hope dealer. Like, that's the best way. It's like my job is to help people gain hope again, regain hope, and then even help lead you to a path of healing. So how do we do it? Number 1, see a person as a human being. Be grateful where you are. Realize you don't have to do it like the next person. Use your own God-given gifts. Be transparent and honest. Because when you start having conversations with our most vulnerable community, you find out a lot of them were just like us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Had parents, had a good job, maybe married, or maybe they were in some type of service where they were, it was people centered, and something in that life happened that traumatized them. And it could have been something as simple, or we may call simple, as a death of a dog, mother, dying, or grandmother, and where we can bounce back with grief. Not everyone can. And so I think we got to be grateful for how we are designed and operating, but also help another person rebrand, refocus, recenter themselves, and get them back to that place of healing hope. So what I do is I treat every person on an individual case by case. Like, you're not the same person. So if I'm helping you today, I'm not going to help him the same way, helping you the same way I helped him. It's literally by the need of that person. And it's just by saying who you are as a human being. So I don't even know, you can put that in a text, but it's like some things you just can't teach.
Yeah.
It's just in you. And so that's how I view it. What about you, hope dealer number 2?
Hope dealer number 2. Yeah.
I got a bag of hope in the car.
Yeah, I just echo what he says. I mean, and you can't, outside of our vetting process, our interview process, there's not a criteria that, like, everyone's different. It's each individual thing. And I think that's the beauty of it too, because no day is ever the same.
Yeah.
And my job, my talents, I use like the biggest talent. How do I connect? What do I want to happen to my life and my children's life? And that's what I'm out. That's why I'm trying to sell in a good way. This is the need. They need. And that's what I go to our partners with. Yeah. And I try to use the skill that I have to try to show them that can you help? And I can honestly say Memphis is this Southern hospital. This is for real Southern hospitality. And I don't know if I'm doing such a great job or they just want to do it because it doesn't seem hard. Once I get in that door, everyone wants to help, but a lot of people, like, that's our job to be those faces. These people got this going? I didn't know this. Let me go reach out and let's make this happen.
And so I'm with you on that with the piece of we don't mind helping, we don't mind throwing the resources. I think sometimes what we don't do a good job is to follow through, right? Now that I've helped you with whatever you give me, is like, all right, how's the program going now? Is there anything more? I think sometimes we just throw it to help meet something. Like there are some people, like now there are some of us, we just have a heart to help. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. But there are times where there's just no follow through to keep it going. Like we are very compassionate, very helpful. I mean, it's the home of St. Jude, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's a huge issue. And you know what I love about social work? It makes anyone and everyone an expert if you care enough. I literally we have Work Local where we partner with the city, and we have women, we have all these individuals eating lunch out here right now, just got off work crew. Something as simple as like the sanitation crews get to come out, get to speak with individuals, show them how to do their job, make them feel valued, put some money in their pocket. You can do that with anyone. Yep. And to go back to workforce development, like we said earlier, that's like at the center of a lot of issues. It's like the capability of like withholding and having income to create that sustainable future.
Right.
And I think partnerships, when it comes to following through, that is the number one key to success when it comes to social work. Like American Job Center has been a really good partner the past month or so as we rolled out Hub University. But I told them at the beginning, our biggest issue is if I tell Joe, hey, go to AJC, it's at this location, you can speak with someone, they open up the doors at 9. There's so many mitigating factors that could stop him from getting there, not knowing what to ask, feeling unwelcomed or unwanted to go in there and ask because they see other people walking in that are dressed in a nice suit or they look like they showered or had like the worst, didn't have to sleep outside the night before. And that's really a declining, like, I don't know if I should even enter that building. But to have a partner come out here, show them, walk them through the process, say, hey, this is what this will look like for you in the future. That is more impactful than people understand. And that follow through is, I still get texts all the time from youth that have left Hub Hall, but I just got one the other week from Greg, who we have a podcast with. He got into a car wreck and just sent me a bunch of stuff, but it's always funny to me because he stays so positive, and he has his whole life. And when he had texted me, he said like he was extremely thankful for getting connected with Trap, with Miss Portia. Because
shout out to
She's
Portia.
good people.
Amazing. You can't even say enough good things about her. She'll be on here. Hopefully, I got to reach out.
She's had a graduation coming up too with our second chance class.
Yeah, I mean, her work is tremendous. But he said that he loved working with her too because she always just reached out to reach out. Yeah. And I think that follow through, just showing them that you care beyond what you can do for them. Just at the very least, I can listen to a problem that you're going through. I think that's more impactful.
At the very least,
more impactful than people know. And I think that to me is what I tell people about the work we do is like just caring about people. I love the term hope dealer. I've never heard that before.
Me neither. That's excellent.
Let's do it. Let's get some shirts. Let's go.
I think that really is cool.
Well, I have a question about your background for a second. So, I understand the jump from pastor, or not even jump because you're still doing it. I am curious how the transition went from higher ed to your current role now.
Higher ed, I directly from higher ed. I ended up I was teaching, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was kind of starting to get a little disenchanted with. You're kind of helping students at a four-year university get to their career pathways, but not really having that real hands-on. Once you get out of my English Comp 1, Comp 2, English Lit, you're done. I don't see the outcome.
Right.
And then also when you got a calling, man, you don't know what happens. You don't know why it happens. Our college, so I was full-time professor. So I started out at Lamona One College. Shout out to LOC for life. I'm a faculty alum. And I was teaching adjunct part-time at night because we were buying a house. I had my little son, And so me and my wife were about to buy a house, and so this is years ago now. Years ago, long time. Was Bernie Mac
His son is 25.
No, now look at him.
He ratted you out.
Oh, that's funny. Look. So this is probably 16. Look, this is probably 14, 15 years ago. And I remember I gotta get some extra money to get that down payment, right? You see that credit? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was teaching across the bridge at ASU Mid-South. Years ago, before y'all's time, it used to be called, what was it called? Anyway, it's ASU Mid-South now. And so, so they were housing a grant, a workforce attack to get a trade adjustment agreement. Grant was like, they were like, hey, we want, it was an advertisement. So one night class I was getting ready to leave, and I was going to go grading some papers, submitting some grades online, and I saw an announcement, an email came, and I was like, workforce development, and I've always been like, what does that mean, right? I didn't really know what it meant. And then I saw the salary for this program manager job as well. I was like, man, that would look good. I could use that, right? And then I was reading about it, and I was like, man, it's connecting colleges. The college was the housing the grant. Long story short, I applied for it. I ended up getting that position, and that's how I walked into the world of workforce development. But I was still connected with colleges because the college that I was at, ASU Mid-South, housed the grant. But GMAC, Greater Memphis Alliance for a Competitive Workforce, that's where I got the job through. But ASU housed the grant. We had partners of Mortec, TCAT, Southwest, University of Memphis. So I was still in the world of education as well too. And I didn't realize how big, I was a scholar. I was an English guy, one of those, a lit nerd. I didn't realize how big advanced manufacturing and logistics was. I understood that we were the logistics hub of the world globally, but when you're not in that realm, like you talk about, if you're not just as involved, you don't know. If you're not unhoused, you don't know.
Right.
If you come from a home where there's money to be given out and opportunities abound, you don't really know what it's like. I didn't even know that all of these different steel manufacturing stuff existed. So I got educated in that realm for 3 or 4 years under GMAC, partnered with the Chamber of Commerce. And you kind of know what the Chamber of Commerce does, but you don't really know what it does and how it's all connected: local government, county government. And so that's how I got into there. And then I transitioned from there to labor relations with supply chain, which is also a huge, obviously everything is supply chain for the most part, Kroger. And then of course, then I came with the city of Memphis. And now I really love the government. Government kind of becomes, city government is like the center of it all. All these particular industries I'm talking about have to be connected with government. And so that's how it started. So it started in education. I'm still in education.
Yeah.
Right. And so it started under that housing. I saw that grant housing, and that's what led me to it. And then of course, you're a preacher, you're a pastor, you know it. Sometimes you don't know why you apply for that job. Like when that call and the Lord leads you, you don't even know why you're doing that.
So they're all dots connecting.
Yeah.
And so literally, even if you work a job, not a career, just a job for the summertime, you're trying to figure out, maybe you're saying you did it for money or you did it for whatever, but you find out 5 years down the road, 2 years down the road, that it was for a reason. You have to stop by that. It's going to connect to your major assignment in some kind of way. And so, even with everything you just said, I mean, it's bringing you to the assignment that you're doing. So it's just, God connecting the dots. I ain't trying to preach to y'all, but
No.
But go ahead, how it goes.
And I really appreciate that answer because I was curious to see that bridge, but now that you explain it that way, that connective tissue is very easy to see, and I see how like you took from your past and used it and are using it today, and the same with you, for pastoral and for
Yeah, I think there's always some sort of, like, for me, like, I have a brother who has some serious mental health concerns, but he experienced homelessness for around 6 years in a few different states, and he went through a lot of trials, tribulations, but pulling from that experience really assisted me and, like, gave me a narrow road of what I wanted to do, because I do know how it felt to be on the other end of those conversations where you feel like a number on a spreadsheet, and you don't feel like they're really there to help you, and so I really made it a point to, whatever I ended up doing, I'm thankfully ended up here to make sure that no one felt that way across the sea for me.
Yeah.
But speaking about the positions y'all are doing, what's got you most excited about the upcoming months, years? What are you most excited? New initiatives?
Oh man! So right now, with On Your Block, we just started a new initiative. Just launched this. What's today? The 6th.
Yeah.
yes.
I'm just going by the days at this. So 2 days ago, March 4th, we launched a new initiative. It's for a Black Alliance movement we're calling BAM Memphis. And so the churches, we're identifying restaurants and businesses in our communities that are Black owned or brown owned. And how can we affect their bottom line in a positive way? So every church is going to identify a business, and the pastor's going to tell their members, hey, go out, go support Matt's restaurant on so-and-so, and you do it all in one day. And we just hope that that business will not only promote them, but we just kind of change some things in that community. Like, we really want people to become more community focused and centered. There was a time talk about South Memphis, Fraser, Orange Mound, like everything you needed for your life was in your community. Like now you got to drive across town for this, drive across town for that. I grew up in the era where my dad, like, we go into a bank, everybody in the bank knows his name, everyone at the grocery store knows his name. Well, now you got communities that don't even have a bank or a grocery store.
Right.
And so how do we, rebuild that community up so you don't have to drive across town just for necessities, just basic needs. And so we're just trying to rebuild communities around here. So I'm excited about that. Memphis, if you know anything, we're all territory. So you hear Orange Mound, people get excited. They start naming their schools. Or in fact, when people meet you, the first question they ask you is, what school did you go to?
Right.
Because it's just something about pride, about school and communities. And right now with the schools starting to close down a lot of these communities, like how can we save them and allow that place to become a place of excitement again? So
Yes.
that's what I'm excited about in the rebuilding of communities.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It's probably why I'm the director of community affairs.
I mean, it makes
They get
sense.
the
It
direct
tracks a
communities.
little.
Right.
I don't know. What you got? What you excited about?
Waking up every morning breathing.
Period.
Period. I'm gonna always be blessed. Period. I'm gonna always have that positivity. And I'm really excited. I'm just like I really like visit. I like these graduating seniors that Opportunity R3 is coming in contact with, because I'm excited about them and also the partnerships that we have for potential internships and things of that nature. Internships. I was just on Lemoyne's campus yesterday, and they were just so excited about connecting with these seniors because a lot of them, if you're not in school and you're not working, I don't know if I really want to go to college.
Yeah.
I just like the partnerships that I have that are connected and trying to assist these young people. That's fun for me. So I'm excited about the future to see what happens. I love to see, I can't wait to get a text about somebody that just started a training program yesterday. I'm waiting on him to text me back to tell me how it went yesterday. So I'm just excited about where our community affairs is going. So I'm just
we're
excited
about all the new businesses that keep coming to Memphis.
Hey.
'Cause that's always a new partner, right?
Yes.
Right.
And that's always a new,
Absolutely. As we start asking our final questions, I have kind of a lighter one.
Oh my.
So I was asked in my graduate program at U of M, go Tigers.
GTG.
Yes. I got asked to come up with my title for my autobiography if I had one. And I would love to know, writer, hey, and
Hey, he writes, how many sermons he wrote?
he about to drop a sermon on this autobiography.
Right.
All right, well, come on, Ryder, you go first.
What my autobiography would
Title.
be called? Title?
Just title.
Good Jesus. See, that's low down.
That's a good title.
Good Jesus.
Good Jesus.
There it is. I like
That's
that
a
one.
heck of a title.
I
See,
love it.
look.
I love it.
That's why you're director.
That's a
Good
heck of a-
Jesus.
Good Jesus.
By G. Joyner.
Maybe yours is Hope Dealer.
I would like that.
Don't
What?
give it
Look
to
at you.
I'm sorry, that's
me
just
start
a
writing right
title.
now.
That is a
Jesus.
I
title.
want to start writing that now.
Look
Hope
at
Dealer.
that.
That's such a
I
good
like that.
title. Oh.
See, that's that poet. That's that writer coming out.
You know,
Poet.
you just said it earlier, and I'm just seeing you with the bag of hope on the cover. I'm loving
In the
it.
pulpit.
Just slinging hope
Yeah,
all over the
just
city.
spraying it.
Yeah.
I guess to end on the heavier one outside of the autobiography. Those are both
Wish
the
that
best.
would
We should have stayed with the light.
Right.
All right, here we go.
You know,
Heavy.
This is a good
heavy.
one. This
All
is-
right.
This is very, very, I'm sure y'all both kill it. If you could leave people with one message about leadership, service, impact, community, what would it be and why?
Don't forget your mission. Continue to see people, as human beings. And the last thing is give it the best you can with the life that you have left. Like, we don't know what tomorrow is, so just give it your best today. So if I can help Fred today, I'm helping him today. I don't know what tomorrow is. Fred may not have it tomorrow. I may not have it tomorrow. So just execute well with the time you have left.
Beautiful.
Be who you is. Don't be who you ain't.
I love it.
Because if you be who you ain't who you is. Be authentic
That's your guy, by the
and
way.
be that person all the way. That's Gerald Joyner Senior.
Just
Tell
yank
my
the
dad,
microphone.
He gonna get me real. be that. Find who you really are, and always be that, no matter the circumstance, and you'll be fine.
That's true.
Beautiful.
Be true to you.
Well, personally, thank y'all for that message.
Thank
I
you.
hope
Thank
that
you
someone
for having
else is able to hear that and feels that, but I feel that really heavily. That positively affected me, so I really appreciate that. I appreciate y'all being here today.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where the work goes. I know there's partnerships happen all the time, and R3 is beautiful. And I'm really excited for the future, so I look forward to it. And
By the
appreciate
way,
y'all.
this was a healthy break, so we're talking about how do we rekindle that fire from burnout. It's moments like this where you can just kind of reflect, right?
Yeah.
And say, you know what, we got more work to do.
Absolutely.
We gotta go
I
hit the
appreciate
grind
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
This was healthy, and I appreciate it.
No, appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.